Be ready for that? Yeah.
My mental health was better, but uncontrollable TD, tardive dyskinesia, started disrupting my day.
TD felt embarrassing. I felt like disconnecting. I asked my doctor about treating my TD and learned about Ingrezza.
Ingrezza is clinically proven for reducing TD. Most people saw results in just 2 weeks.
The little one, it's been a hot minute. Okay, so what are the ones I need to do? What are the quests? Or are they just general quests? This is just from doing weekly quests. Okay, four to 6, I'm gonna do those. Weekly quests, 4 to 6. Jam at a named location. Man, you make me work too hard. You're making me work too hard for this. It's the Giancarlo Esposito Summer skin. What's that? What are you yapping about? Oh man, I was having such a good morning and then I got turned into a TikTok. Yeah, I know. Voice chat is such a gamble. It really is. Like, you can have some wholesome moments and it's great, but sometimes it's just like... like, sometimes you get a full squad of girls and everyone's just having a cute time, and sometimes you get called, like, a prostitute. It's like one or the other, you know? It's one or the other. NA East would never. Okay.
Why'd I say I'd man the grill? I don't man things. Just find the knot that makes the hot fire come out. Here's the plan. I knew...
Internet said Red Lobster's going away. Boy, Flavor Flav said, not today. Crab Fest is here, boy, and they got 2 flavors, just like me. Flavor Flav. We got roasted garlic and new Cajun butter. Getting the most bonafide comeback yet. Comeback you'll be coming back for. It's Crab Fest at Red Lobster, boy. When you gotta have seafood, you gotta have Red Lobster.
I thought you said you weren't gonna talk to me.
Watch out for that turret.
Hey, Germa, remember when, yo, Germa! Yo, remember when, yo, Germa, look at this!
Wait, no, Germa, no! Germa, no, don't do it! Germa!
What?
25 damage.
What? It's only 27?
Yeah, you gotta direct. I think you direct.
I didn't want to use the, wait, where even is the thing I just got? That's what was freaking me out. Where is it?
Why were you panicking?
Can I know? Why is it grayed out? What the fuck is that? Alright, yeah, I have no idea. I just sniped it out of the air.
Oh my god, he watchdogs hacked it. Wait, you still got a turn?
Oh shit!
Is that really a dud?
I don't know what that thing does. Oh.
Guy gets 2 turns and does nothing with either of them.
Oh yeah, really? Oi, not dead yet?
Wait till they find me Axel. Alright, there. Alright. It's time.
You have got to be fucking kidding me.
Washing face. soggy.
We're soggy.
She would be like, oh, I got this. Like, I got this.
I haven't. Do you have any food that can make like dirt? Can mix? Okay, I have an idea. Okay, I have an idea. Then I think it's probably gonna be faster. I do think I make some dirt and some water and make it tic-tac-toe like one of these. No, okay, bad idea. Terrible idea. Okay. Okay, maybe we play the other game.
Yeah, we can't figure that one out. We probably should have done that before.
Yeah. We almost got it.
I feel like we were really
Or we do like
Brian's in chat. He just said cheese.
Brian!
Brian, we were requesting.
Brian!
Yeah, you're covering me.
Brian! Okay, this is not how much to do about. We got this. Okay, so this tic-tac-toe is very tangled.
Okay.
You gotta need some help. You got this.
Okay, here. Go over there. Okay, here. Should pick up that one. You did great.
I need
Yeah,
water?
good job, good job. It's always good to stay hydrated.
Okay.
Gotta make sure we stay hydrated.
Okay.
You guys do.
It was like this.
I think you guys did a good fixing this. You got a lot of balls on it.
I'm not very good at running balls, I have to admit.
I don't know if that's true, man. I don't know.
No, it is true. I get scared.
You get scared of balls?
Yeah, like I used to play volleyball.
Oh, okay.
And the very last second that the ball is coming towards me, I'm like, I got it. I had perfect angle and I flinch. You know?
Yeah.
Do you need me to hold it?
Yeah, here, come hold these balls real quick right here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like we did like 3 and we figured it out.
Okay,
We think
Okay,
that the
that's
ones
fine.
that are hard are the corners.
Alright, so you hold this hard part here and this ball here. Here you go.
And
Yeah.
this one?
No. You're dropping one ball and picking up another. Here you go.
Okay.
Hold this one right here. Hold
This
these,
one?
Yeah.
These 3, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so that's
Okay.
right. Okay. Holy shit, you guys have made
It is not our fault. It was like this, Brian.
It was like that.
Yeah, that's what
I swear it was like that. No, it really was like this when we grabbed it.
Now hold it up high. There you go.
Okay.
Dude, that's an arm workout.
The kitty's gonna come out.
No,
she's
You sure?
This one will pull this whole thing in. This way? No. Okay, this is just making it worse.
I know it's
Okay.
complicated.
Here, we got this part, and we need to take all of this all the way up a little bit. Let's stick that in. Now fix it. Fix!
What? That's not fixed!
No, that is 100% fixed.
Brian, that is not fixed.
Okay.
Okay, so let's turn around right. I feel like we should do this. And we turn out right, and we figure it out on the right.
I don't think that's...
Like a maze.
I don't think this is the way it works.
Okay, so how does it go to the right?
Here, I don't know, I can't see though, you're in my light. So come step closer over here. Yeah, right there. No. Yeah, good.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go. You're in my light, Alinity, okay? I have to make sure I get the proper... I need the proper light. No, come, Scott, here we go. Yeah, I need the proper lighting to make sure that we're getting... Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is not right.
Listen, just play tic-tac-toe, okay? Look, it looks good to me.
We need chalk. Do you have chalk? The kitty is out.
Nessie won't come here. Let me see.
She was interested in the banana.
Oh.
She's so cute.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom. What? I've gone to the bathroom 5 times. You haven't. How is that possible? Do you have like a really big bladder?
I guess so.
Or maybe mine is really...
So you're drinking a lot more than I am. I've been like sipping. Dude, I have no idea. It came like that
It was all tangled when we pulled it out of the thing, so. I don't blame you. You brought it to us like that, so.
What?
Yep.
And the women always blaming the men, okay? Next you're gonna say it's my fault you got a fat ass. I don't know, dude.
Okay, dude.
Okay, here, hold this in here. Hold that right there.
Geico can help cover cars, homes, motorcycles, and even accordions.
You sure showed him.
You bet your pickled peppers I did.
Whatever you need, get more with Geico.
Never found it and was like, oh, okay, it just doesn't do that. Dirty root beer, that's kind of gross. But I mean, like, you know, what's up? You're you're still welcome. Very welcome. Thank you for the follow, Dirty Root Beer.
Yes. Unlimited power. I will not be denied.
Appreciate you. Welcome. Much love. Yeah. Dirty Root Beer. It aids in compile times. That's all it does. I'm trying to play a Halo tournament, but my computer keeps crashing. I don't know if it's DDoS. Dang. I came here in shambles. It looks great. I love the style. Thank you, Andy. Yeah, it's we're about 11 months right now. So we're 11 months streaming and 11 and a half months of development. So we're coming up on our 1 year of development. And we've got our game design document that we're working through. We're sort of using this as a doodle, but our game design document is in this sort of infinite canvas form. And we are slowly transitioning it over to a slideshow form. And then we're going to be going for the Epic Mega Grant any day now.
Blackstone left foot,
And,
rocking.
and we do our playtests. We've done probably about 15 playtests so far. And server's down right now, but yeah, very excited. Things are happening. And we're doing all of the stuff. All of the stuff. For context, I did 10 years of UI UX design and then 10 years of full stack web development. So I have this like really long career of creating digital experiences and working with web technology. And then prior to that, as a kid, one of my first pastimes was character modeling in Maya and 3D art. So I have all these skills that are through my life now come full circle, and to make it even sweeter, I've been a musician the entire time. So we're doing art, music, design, code, the whole shebang. All the stuff, got to do it. As much as my brain can handle it. Appreciate you. So. Okay, it's not move pending cast.
Alrighty then, so the thing about favorites is they're only your favorite until a new favorite tells your old favorite to beat it.
Introducing the all-new Sonic Smasher. So good, it's about to be your next new favorite.
Yo, I'm not a big fan of change, but I'm willing to try it. I gotta tell people about this.
Yo.
The all-new Sonic Smasher. Live free, eat Sonic.
Wanna live free?
Coffee piss. Yeah, it was like kind of coffee piss and then like tea piss, water piss. It was like a good combination. It didn't smell very coffee-y. I think I did pretty good. Okay, it is something o'clock. 5:20 p.m., y'all. You know what that means? Not a damn thing. We got the whole day to do whatever. Oh, shit, bitch. My dad, LSD. What was the one comment about my dad? Take him to the bunker, dude. Yeah. Absolutely. Gotta take him away from this cursed planet, dude. This cursed realm. Woo! Okay, let's Where's my wallet? Your bladder thanks you? Thanks, bladder. Thanks.
Скажем так,
Да.
последние, так сказать, 4 года
Так.
я зарабатываю,
В месяц.
я могу сказать, я не могу назвать это чистым доходом. Я могу назвать именно приход средств.
Давай. Считай.
Я думаю, что от 3 до 5 миллионов в месяц
Чего?
рублей.
Доллар это сколько? Калькулятор открыли.
$3 миллиона
Мира.
это 40 тысяч долларов. 5 миллионов это примерно 70 тысяч долларов.
Okay, what's up with your boyfriend?
Ever since he got AT&T's best deal on the new Samsung Galaxy and the Super.
Hey, Gucci. Oh my god, Gucci girl, how are you? 리듬 제대로 타는지. 예쁘다. 그니까 우리를 왜 이렇게 재밌게 놀아?
I agree. Especially like, nah, dude, trust. Like, nothing would ever happen there. Stop shipping me. Only never mind. Only with people who are confirmed single, then you can ship me with them. Yeah, I ship me with Onion. I ship me with Mira too, but Mira's out of my league. I ship me with Lidastor. I ship me with Blue Flame. I ship me with Spicy. Who else? Everybody. Everybody here, Titan. I ship me with you, Titan. Who else? Stream Elements. I ship me with Stream Elements. I don't have. This is a new laptop. I don't have the fucking 7TV emotes. The extension. On Twitch, I'm massive. Everybody loves watching for now, but someday it will go down. It can be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, shit, even 15 years. But someday nobody will care to look at my stuff. It will all fade away. It'll all get pushed to the side, and a bunch of new shit will come up. It happens. And it's happening to a couple girls on Twitch right now that I've already seen that have been, you know, streamers for a little bit. So, it happens. So, no, you're right. I am not a celebrity. I am an online influencer, so I will fade away. If I was a celebrity, oh gosh, no, probably not. But because I'm not a celebrity, I'll fade away. And nobody's gonna care about Misfire in 5 to 10 years. They're gonna be like, who the fuck is that? She used to do what? What is that anyways? I don't even know what that is anymore. When we get older, our kids, if whoever has kids right now, they're not gonna know who I am. They're not gonna give a shit to even look into me. Who's she? I don't know. Who cares? I will. No one's gonna care. So people ask me, why do you care to do this? I care to do this because I don't go that viral. If I went that viral, then yeah, I probably would be a little bit upset, because then there's kind of no coming back from it, but I'm really not that viral. You know, YouTubers are way bigger than Twitch streamers, and I'm not even a YouTuber. So there's normal people that do, you know, other things, Twitch streamers that are, you know, pretty big but not huge, TikTokers or YouTubers that could be pretty big, TikTok people, and then like celebrity status. You know, I'm all the way in the Twitch zone. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not even a YouTuber. And I tried TikTok, and I was actually very popular on TikTok before they started banning me. But yeah, if you think about it, like, I'm just a Twitch streamer, guys. Like, I'm not like a celebrity. Nobody on here is a celebrity. So, like, nobody's gonna remember us. Like, no offense to some big streamers, but have you guys seen some streamers with like 30,000 viewers, and now all of a sudden, like, nobody even knows them anymore? Like, they still kind of remember their name, but nobody talks about them. You know, like, people will fade, and nobody's gonna remember them. But the people that probably viewed them every single day consistently, that were like hardcore fans, those are the people that will remember you. But those people out of the entire world, that's not very many. So again, you're gonna fade away. No one's gonna remember you unless you run into those people when you're retired and older someday. So for people that are like, you'll never have a normal life, you'll never have a man, da da da. Yeah, my shit will fade. They're not gonna care. They're gonna be like, oh, you used to do that? Oh, well, I can't even find it on the internet anymore. So it doesn't bug me, you know?
What's
It's
the
very
S?
touching.
There's no S.
My S's are just mine.
It's not really how they're supposed to be. I don't think.
I just have to write it down.
So then I just throw a little squiggle in there.
Let's call my doctor and go to the psychiatrist. It's always the only thing on my list.
Mm-hmm. You don't do your list.
I do, but then they're like, inconclusive.
You're just an anomaly.
I'm just like,
no one will ever know what's wrong with your brain or your stomach, so. There's gotta be some, like, 1% rare disease that they just haven't found yet that's just literally, like, you're an alien in the brain and you have cancer in your stomach.
They already checked for that, though.
I love that
You
for
know how
her.
big of a good reader you have to be a boy.
Okay, I'm so dumb. I'm so tired of everyone just being like, you just have such a small dick because you have a big truck. I think that big truck rocks, and I hope you have a seat in there to go with it. Okay, the lifted is gay as fuck. Then just be gay. Don't talk about it so much. Just be gay.
We'll just get a suit with you. You're gonna like it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm on board with that.
That's the paywall coming out in me a little bit,
I
but
agree.
that's the only thing I know.
I agree with that.
Is that I don't know much, but I know that much.
I had a farmer's permit.
I did.
My name's Maddie, and I had a farmer's permit.
I was on the farm last.
Do you know it's $14 a month to have a blue check mark on
What you said?
no
Twitter?
no Instagram?
Cam pays
Right.
$14 a month.
With what money? You're poor. Look at where you live.
All in Wisconsin's money. Cam doesn't even live there anymore.
I
Casper
got,
does.
you know what?
Casper and
Don't.
Wisconsin.
Don't. And you know the basement too. Carl.
Detachable door. Some roof.
I got to this man's house one time after the crib.
You had to move the door physically.
And he opened the door and grabbed the door and moved the door. And I was like, I have to go home right now.
Yesterday.
Go Broncos! Hell yeah!
He has a fucking scope.
I don't give a shit. I hope she likes the Broncos too. I'd say it to her if she was the one wearing the shirt. Anyway. I can't.
Yeah.
With that. So stressful. Okay. So, we go. Yesterday, city gets obliterated. We go to.
No way they just brought out their walk trash out of their car. No prep. No nothing.
That girl that I just showed you on Instagram, her and her boyfriend go on walks, and one wears one AirPod and one wears the other AirPod, and they listen to podcasts together. Husband. Do it with a girlfriend. Alone. I would never go on a walk with my...
Not a walk like that.
I'd go on a hot girl walk with my best friend, and I would go on a hot girl walk
By myself.
so alone.
I wouldn't ever go on a hot.
Short.
Do you think I need to go to rehab? I kind of do.
No, I don't.
Really?
I don't think it's...
Really?
Okay.
No, I'm not gonna do that. But that's my thing is like I'm not there, which I think is people are like
I think
the concern
that they would
I think the concern
do as
is
good as
that.
a job with the diagnosis if you went there than you think. Yeah. Because that's also people who go there need a quick solution. And I think you need to have a shit ton of patience and
But that's
buckle
why I
up
was
for this
thinking.
ride.
That's why I was thinking. Seth sends me away for like 2 months, like California. It's like okay. Seems a little vacation-y, but I'm kind of like,
you know that you can't have your phone, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
You're getting suicide.
Well, the thing is that it's so bad. I would never do that. I would keep doing this. It's so bad.
Yeah.
I would just rather do this instead.
That's bad.
Worse.
The fact that you even are considering it is scaring the shit out of me. Anyway.
Well, don't you think that would be like the only way to do it?
No.
Because then I'm too.
No, it's looking like go to the psychiatrist and they do it.
I know, but then I have to do the whole like see if it's working on my own.
Yeah, because they see you often when you do it, and they ask you all of the right things. And if
Okay, what's up with your boyfriend?
Ever since he got AT&T's best deal on the new Samsung Galaxy, anda super alzado.
You're a champion.
Friend.
Is here. Can you hear me? How's the microphone? Can everybody hear me? How is it? How's the audio? I'm waiting to. We did have music. Now I can't hear anything. Trying to eat my dinner. Got a bunch of damn crap planned today.
when we're at our best, the way we're building products, it'll go up market.
I guess you would say surreal, but it wasn't surreal. You know, I was telling somebody you have instances like this or like a lot less than this where you feel it's a surreal situation. And I never felt that way. I knew immediately that it was a bullet. I knew immediately that it was at the ear.
Yeah.
And because it, you know, it hit very hard, but hit the ear. And I also heard people shout, bullets, bullets, you know, get down, because I moved down pretty nicely, pretty quickly. And we had bullets flying right over my head after I went down. So I'm glad I went down. The bigger miracle was that I was looking in the exact direction of the shooter. And so it hit me at an angle that was far less destructive than any other angle. So that was the miracle. That was, for those people that don't believe in God, I think we got to all start thinking about that. You have to, you know, I'm a believer. Now I'm more of a believer, I think, and a lot of people have said that to me. A lot of great people have said that to me, actually. But it was amazing that I happened to be turned just at that perfect angle. And all because I put down a chart on immigration that showed that the numbers were so great. I love that chart even more now.
Maybe it's a sign. Maybe that's a sign, you know.
It's an immigration sign.
You highlighted a serious issue at that moment.
That's right.
The book, Mr. You know, hit your ear, but you know, Mr. Your head.
Well, the amazing thing is that the sign, I said, bring down that sign on immigration, and it was literally about an eighth of a second where it would be good, and after that it was going to be a disaster, no matter which way you were facing. But it just had that perfect angle, which was exactly at this shooter. Very sad situation. Such a sad situation. As you know, we lost somebody that was great, Corey, who, a firefighter, a great gentleman, a great trumper. He was just a fantastic family and a fantastic man. And a friend of mine came up, Elon, and said, I'd like to give the family some kind of help. And I said, that's great. He said, do you mind? I said, I don't mind at all. And he wrote out a check for $1 million, gave it to the wife. And, you know, she said, this is really nice, but I'd rather have my husband back, which is a nice thing for somebody to say, to be honest. She's great. The family is great. And we raised a lot of
Yeah.
money for them and for two other gentlemen who are unbelievable people also. They were hit really badly. They thought they were not going to make it, and they did. The doctors in the Butler area, I tell you, they were incredible. They saved the two, and they were really hit tough, both of them, equally. And we thought, my first question was, because I heard bullets flying over me, I said, how many people were killed? He had a massive crowd there, a tremendous, thousands and thousands of people, and there was no land. I mean, it was all people. So I said, how many people have been killed? Because I knew there were other shots being fired. And they said, we don't know yet, but some people have been badly hurt. And I have to give the Secret Service sniper, they call him, or sharpshooter, but sniper, because he didn't know there was a problem. He's an extraordinary shot, obviously, and he didn't know there was a problem. And he was able to pick it all out within 5 seconds. And he used one bullet from very far away, I guess probably about 400 yards. The shooter was 130, but he was on the opposite side of the field and the podium. And he saw the smoke and the flame from the gun, immediately recognized it, and immediately took a shot. And it was one perfect shot from very far away. And if he didn't do that, Elon, he would have. I mean, if he would have, a lot more people could have been badly hurt and killed. So I have to take my hat off to him, because that's also a surreal. You know, he's been with them for 23 years, and he's never had anything like this. And all of a sudden he has to act, and it's a very tough thing to act and to be shooting somebody. But he saw the gun, saw the smoke, saw the flame from the gun, very far away. Obviously, he has very good eyes. He's got very good vision, which I assume you have to have in that particular work. But he took aim very quickly, and they say it was approximately 5 seconds from long range, one bullet. But that didn't happen because the shooter had a lot of bullets. He had a lot of cartridges up there with him. So
well,
it would have been great.
I mean, that's clearly he was very competent in taking that shot to stop the assassination. But I mean, there does seem to be some pretty significant failings elsewhere in the system. Like, there's just no way that, like, how on earth does a shooter get on a roof 130 yards away? That seems crazy. I think most people people are wondering how on earth could such a thing happen.
Well, I view it in two ways. There should have been nobody in the room. There were people, because there were so many tens of thousands of people there were people that were seeing him. And there was one woman with a red shirt and Trump all over her. She's screaming.
Rack up the most kills.
That guy's got a gun. You saw it probably. There's a guy up
there. For my part, and I think probably many members of the public are wondering, how the heck are, basically people wandering by pointing at this guy on the roof with a gun? And they're seeing it, but somehow it's not being addressed. That just seems crazy.
Well, they're going to learn from this. The communication between the local police, who sort of had an idea, and then ultimately a man lifted himself up to the roof, could barely do it because he was pulling himself. And he saw the man with the gun. The man with the gun pointed the gun at him. He thought he was probably going to get shot. But, he was like pulling himself up. And because of that, he couldn't get to his gun. And he fell down, actually very badly hurt his leg, his ankle. Here very badly. But he fell down. And he did, from what I understand, he did say there's a guy up there with a gun. And the shooting started very quickly. I think it forced the shooter to go maybe quicker. He's supposed to be a very good shot. My sons, Don and Eric, they can't believe what happened, but they said from 130 yards, a bad shot will hit that target almost. They said it's like in golf, 50 to 2-foot putt.
Yeah, it's not a tough shot.
It's not a long shot. The Secret Service person had the long shot. He had a triple distance. So, you know, it was a terrible thing. Look, it's hard. I have to say this about people. And, you know, I went down based on, I think they're screaming. But other people also, because people saw this happen. You know, you had so many people. One of the miracles was that nobody ran. If a gun goes off, the ground control people when guns go off, stadiums or a soccer match or some kind of a match, everybody flees. They call it stampede, like cattle. And a lot of people get killed with those stampedes. We had more people than you'd have at some of these matches or these games, and nobody left. You know, you had a small group behind us in the grandstand, and that was full. And you look at it as it was taking place, and normally they'd be running. They didn't. They saw that I was hurt. They saw a lot of blood, and they saw that I went down. It's almost like they wanted to do it. Well, out front, you had thousands, tens of thousands of people. As far as the eye could see, you had people in front. As far as and a lot of people, you know, many cameras on watching this. It's what makes it so different, because normally things happen that aren't good, but you never have a picture. Here we have all these cameras shooting it. So, amazing. But one of the nobody. And there were some people that stood up and they're looking like, you know, I mean, I tell you, you want to have them in a foxhole with you. I want to meet somebody. Sure. So different from what you know, but so I was down, but the Secret Service guys, there were bullets flying right over my head. You could hear them go whizzing. And these guys came jumping on top.
Enemy halfway to victory.
And a young lady, Kate, would jump. They moved so fast, and let me tell you, that took tremendous courage. Now, there was a lack of coordination. You know, obviously, everybody understands that somebody was covered.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like, I mean, looking at the aerial views, that's going to be like the #1 spot for a sniper. I mean, it's like the, you would pick like, what is the favorite, what if you, so if the goal is to assassinate, what's your favorite spot?
You're right.
That would be #1.
That would have been the spot.
You can ask for a better.
No, that would have been the spot. You know what people think is when the local police, who, by the way, you know, he really, he did what he was supposed to do. He couldn't hold on any longer. And then when he got his head just peeking out, this guy standing there with a gun at his head. And when he fell down, he was making the calls. But what happened is the firing took place very soon. So what they think is that this guy ran to his site. He had all planned out with the gun. He ran to the site and he started shooting fast. And maybe that's why he sort of missed. Could have been a much bigger problem.
But he probably would have hit if he hadn't been hit. So, like, you know, there was a. It
was a miracle. If I hadn't done my job, I would not be talking to you right now. As much as I like you.
Exactly.
I would not.
Yeah.
I would not.
I mean, you'd be talking to me from another realm.
But it was very terrible. The Butler Hospital, they did such a great job. The doctors were so good. Everybody was so good. There was a mistake. If somebody knew, because people were hearing, you know, there was just a bad feeling that there was somebody was around. You know that story now. And somebody could have said, because they oftentimes said, you know, like there'd be a lightning storm or something. Because I've done, I think, over 300. I think I did a lot more than that. But we did a lot. And oftentimes they'll say, sir, could you wait 10 minutes, please? Sir, could you wait 20 minutes? There's a storm overhead or lightning or something, right? And that happens often. And this would have been the perfect time for that to happen. But it didn't get coordinated.
Well, it was your actions can make in the heat of fire. Like, what I remember there was that you can't fake bravery in circumstances. It's hard to distinct or it's not a robust action. And so I just want to say that I think a lot of people admire your courage under fire there. And so
thank you very much. I appreciate it. I didn't think of it. I just wanted to get up. I wanted to let people know. I felt I was when they were on top of me, covering me, actually, very much covering me, and very bravely. But I wanted to get up. I said, I want to get up. They wanted, they have everything there. They wanted to stretch. They didn't like to stretch. And I knew I was hit in the ear, but I knew I wasn't hit anywhere else. They felt I was hit someplace else because it was such a lot of blood. And they were sure that I was hit someplace else. And they were saying, sir, you were hit more than the ear. I said, I was hit in the ear. I want to get up. Let me get up. And so I got up. And the crowd didn't know what to do. I mean, this was so many people. You could see they were confused. They didn't know what to think. And I wanted to let them know I was okay. It was very important for me to let them know that. And they went wild. You've seen me. And they didn't go wild when I got up because they didn't know, was I alive? You really couldn't tell. When I stood up before the hand, before the fist in the air, they didn't know if I was alive. Nobody did. And when I put the fist up, they were just relieved. The place it was a terrible thing, but it was
probably moving. The slide that got you to turn that saved your life really was the legal immigration slide. Maybe let's talk a bit about that. That slide.
Legal immigration saved my life. You're right, but it was. It had to be at an exact angle.
I mean, that's
the incredible thing though, when you talk about the odds, you had to be exactly at that angle. But the incredible thing is that the chart, I use it less than 20% of the time. It was just a moment. It's always on my left, never my right, and it's always at the end of the street. So here we have it. It's on the right, not the left. It's at the beginning, not the end. And even the people that put it up, they were unprepared, and they did a great job. They got it up immediately, fortunately. But I looked to the right, and the bullet came whizzing by, hitting my ear. So it was amazing. But when you think of the odds of that, and that normally you wouldn't use it. Normally I wouldn't have the thing, and then it would have been a very different story. It's very much, I say, an act of God. It's a miracle that it happened, and I'm honored by it. I'm honored by it.
Well, what were you about to say about illegal immigration before you were rudely interrupted?
Well, I was going to say how good the numbers were. By the way, we're going back to Butler, and we're going to go back in October. We're all set up, and the people are fantastic in Butler. It's a great area. These are incredible people. Like the three that, in the case of Corey killed, and the other two, the families are. I got to know them a little bit, and the families are great. But we're going back to Butler, and I think I'll probably start by saying, as I was saying, prior to being so horribly interrupted. But
so rudely interrupted by an assassination attempt.
But the chart.
Some people have no manners.
Elon, the chart was just a chart that, in my last week, we had the best illegal immigration numbers, meaning stopping. It was at the lowest. You've seen the chart. It's become quite a famous chart. But that was the lowest point ever recorded. It was a really, I was very proud of those numbers. And then you see what happened with these people, Kamala and Joe. You see what happened. They just let it go. I had Remain in Mexico policies. I had all these different policies that were so good. Guys like Tom Holman and Brandon Judd from Border Patrol. These are all people that they've been on television. It says the best numbers we've ever had. We had so many different checks. Catch and release in Mexico, not the United. We had catch and release in the United States. We had it in Mexico. We had so many things. We had things where if many people come in there, they have contagious diseases. We had everything passed. If you have a contagious disease, I'm sorry, you into the country. So we were setting literally records, and all I was doing is showing that, and I use it sometimes. In this case, I'm glad I used it. I can tell you that. But they were fantastic numbers. But I'm going to sleep with that chart always. I'll be sleeping with that chart. That chart was very important. Very important for a lot of reasons.
Well, I mean, would it be accurate to say that you're supportive of legal immigration, but we also need to shut down illegal immigration, and especially unvetted illegal immigration, because and that's not the same as saying that everyone is bad. In fact, I think most people who are good, unless they solid bad at the border. Does that actually represent your position?
I say it very simply. They have to come in legally. They have to be checked.
Yeah.
Because look, Kamala was the border czar. Now she's denying it. Everything that I do, she's saying she was strong on the border. We're going to be strong. Well, she doesn't have to say it. She could close it up right now. They could do things right now. It's horrible. No tax on tips, and all of a sudden she's making a speech saying there will be no tax on tips. And by the way, they had just the opposite. They had not only tax on tips, but they hired 88,000 IRS agents, and many of them were assigned to go get waitresses and caddies and all of this. They have a policy. They had a policy that they were really going to go after you.
I spent almost $100
We're
to
really
get an IRS
harassing
job,
people
and
horribly.
they just said, "Oh, it
And
should
then
have
all
been
of
a
a sudden,
free
for
drug
politics,
even though I passed
she
everything."
comes out with which I think is terrible, and I think it's also hitting them very hard. It's fake. Now they're also saying they did a good job in the border. We had the worst numbers in the history of the world, not of our country. There's never been a country in history that has had a catastrophe like this. We've had, I believe, and I think you believe this, you hear 12 million. I believe it's over 20 million people came into our country. Many coming from jail, from mental institutions, or a bigger version of that is insane asylums, and many are terrorists. And I'll tell you what, they're coming not just from South America, they're coming from Africa, they're coming from all over the world. They're coming from Asia, they're coming from the Middle East, they're coming from countries that are stupidly and horribly bombing Israel October 7th. They're coming from all over the world. And you look at, it's so sad, October 7th, because it should have never happened. Yeah. It's so sad when you look at Ukraine. It should have never happened. We have a defective government. These are defective people, and they're not people that should be running it. But what you see at the best is the border, because you had
power weapons on the field.
Millions of people coming in a month, and then she gets up and she tries to pretend like she's going to do something. It's 3.5 years, and by the way, they have another 5 months that they're going to do something, but they don't do anything. It's all talk. She's incompetent, and he's incompetent. And frankly, I think that she's more incompetent than he is. And that's saying something.
I think it is essential to have a secure border. I mean, you're really not a country unless you have a secure border. And
secure elections.
Yeah, absolutely, secure elections. And so it's just essential to have a real border, or we can't function as a country. And our services, our central services
make trap out of my running mate.
In a lot of cities.
Plasma grenades.
But as we were talking about earlier, I think having a legal immigration process that is smooth and efficient and done well, and speaking as someone who is a legal immigrant, and I think that like one way to think of it is, who do you want on your team? Who do you want on Team America? And I think we want to just say, okay, let in people who are going to, be great contributors to our society and to our economy, and and who do you want to be? And it's not to say that, like in my opinion, actually, I'd say like probably most of the illegal immigrants actually are actually good, hardworking people. That's my opinion. But some are not, and you just have this sort of adverse selection process where if somebody's
electoral vote time,
if somebody's like has a career in theft or robbery. I don't understand what's taken them so long to catch them, because we're in such a target-rich environment. I mean, you know, why aren't more people who have a career in, bad things coming here sooner? Because it's a piece of cake to go rob LA or New York compared to other parts of the world, and in a lot of places in America, if you try to stop the person who's robbing you, you'll be arrested. So
it's right. I mean, what's happening with crime, and our police are so good, but they're not allowed to do their job. But I have to tell you, I hate to say it. I hate it, but you have a lot of people that just shouldn't be. I think it's a much bigger number than you think. They're allowing, they're allowing people from their jails. And if you were running one of these countries where they're coming from, you would have had all of them. As an example, Venezuela, their crime is down 72%. They're taking their drug dealers, they're taking criminals, they're emptying out their prisons. They're taking their criminals, their murderers, their rapists, and they're delivering them into...
That's what Castro did.
Yeah, well, they did, on a much smaller scale. Much smaller scale. But this is a massive scale, because this is being done worldwide. But here's what's happening. Crime all over the world is down. And wait till you see the numbers that we have. This is migrant crime. This is crime that's going to be... And I saw it today in New York where somebody was knifed, where they raped the girlfriend of a man that stood there watching in New York in one of the shelters and started pulling out the knives, and bad things happened today. But this is happening every day. These are rough people. These are people that are in jail for murder and all sorts of things.
5 minutes remaining.
And they're releasing them into our country, and they're telling them, if you come back, we're going to kill you. We're going to give you the death penalty or kill you. So they don't want to come back. But these are rough people. These are criminals that make our criminals look like nice people. And it's horrible what they're doing. And she's in charge of it. Now she's nothing to do with it. And she's such a liar because she was called the border czar the first day, and it was on the headlines of every newspaper. She's the border czar, and she never even went there. She went to one location which had nothing to do with where the problem is. You know, she went in and out, I guess, because she was getting a lot of pressure, but had nothing to do with the problem. But she was the border czar, and people can't allow them to get away with their disinformation campaign. Now she's trying to say that she wasn't really involved. The whole thing is horrible. He was totally in charge. He could have shut the border down without him. He didn't know what he was doing anyway, so he wouldn't have even known what happened. You can shut the border down, he didn't even know the difference. But the fact is that she was border czar. But if you don't have to call her that. The fact is you could just call her, she was in charge of the border, and the border was the worst ever.
It's simply not working.
No, it's horrible.
Whether it's a question of intention or competence, either way, we don't have a secure border, and we have people screaming over like it looks like a World War Z zombie apocalypse. And sometimes you got to sort of wonder, like, is it real or not? So I see things how bad it's real. I went to in Texas, and I was like, okay, it's real. I'm like seeing this in real time. I actually posted the video like this live. I just flew there one day and just to see, hey, is this made up or real? And I'm just seeing people scream across the border. And I have to say, these people I saw did not look friendly.
These people
look at my video and say, hey, these people look friendly. I don't look super friendly. So.
These are people that Elon would not be the same man if he had to walk across the street and look these people in the eye. These are rough people. These are really rough people coming across. And I know rough people. And these are people that we don't want in our country. And, the caravans are coming in, and they're putting, and who's doing this is the heads of the country. And you would be doing it, and so would I. And everyone would say, oh, what a terrible thing to say. The fact is, it's brilliant to them because they're taking all of their bad people, really bad people. And I hate to say this, the reason the numbers are much bigger than you would think is they're also taking their non-productive people. Now, these aren't people that will kill you. We have enough of them. But these are people that are non-productive. They are just not productive. I mean, for whatever reason. They're not workers or they don't want to work or whatever. And these countries are getting rid of non-productive people in the caravans in many cases. And they're also getting rid of their murderers and their drug dealers and the people that are really brutal people. And they're coming into our country at levels that have never been seen before. And I saw an ad just before I got on the air. I'm walking over here, and I saw an ad by Kamala saying how she is going to provide border security. Where has she been for 3.5 years? For 3.5 years.
Yeah, no.
We have 20 million people. It's a terrible.
Yeah, I think this, frankly, I think this is a fundamental existential issue for the United States. And if we have another 4 more years of open borders, and it's going to be even worse with another 4 more years, it's going to be even worse than it's been for the past 3.5 years. I'm not sure we've got a country.
You don't have a country left. Elon, if they get in, you will have 50 to 60 million people from all over the world, not South America only. You know, we think of South America, we think of Honduras and El Salvador, Guatemala, and Mexico, you know, the 4. But it's not that. It's everywhere. They're coming in from everywhere. And I had to stay in Mexico.
Yeah, this is a super important point. Like people, it's basically, when I went down there, I was like, well, where are people from? It's like almost no one was from Mexico.
No, Mexico less.
It's just the border. It's just the border with Mexico. But the people coming in, it's Earth, the rest of Earth. and America is only about 4 or 5% of the population of Earth. It would only take a few percent of the rest of Earth to overwhelm everything.
We're already overwhelmed. We're overwhelmed. You had to see the news tonight about New York. And I love that place. What they're doing to it.
Rack up the most kills.
What they're doing to it. And all the courts do is they try and focus on Trump. Okay, let's focus on Trump, who did nothing wrong. I complain about a rigged election. Elon, what happened is you have Africa. From the Congo, and people came in from the Congo recently, and they're murderers, and they drop them, they take them out of jail, which is very expensive, to maintain the jails. They don't do too much maintaining, I guess. But they take them out of jails, they take them out, and they bring them to the United States. They deposit them in the United States and say, don't ever come back or you're going to be executed. And they don't want to come back. But they won't come back.
Sure.
But they're coming from Africa. They're coming from Asia. They're coming from the Middle East. They're coming from South America.
Well,
they're coming from everywhere.
Earth, basically.
And there are a lot of really bad ones.
It's just an everywhere on Earth thing, and it's just not possible.
Are you listening to the Trump speech?
Everyone from Earth, or even a few percent of the rest of Earth. It's just not possible.
Well,
So,
Elon, we're going to have, just
yeah.
to finish this up, we're going to have the largest deportation in history of this country, and we have no choice. Otherwise, we're going to have a country, what they've done to our country. Think of it. With in Venezuela and in some of these other countries, crime is down 50, 60, 70, 80%. And you would be the same. You would have. Yeah. I'll tell you what, Venezuela has not gotten rid of all of them. They've gotten rid of about 70% of their really bad people. Their jails are about 50% put into the United States. The same with other countries. Some are at 30%, some are at 50%. They're all different. But the bottom line is they're all going to be at 100%. Why wouldn't you put 100% of it? Yeah. And they're doing it right now while this third-rate, phony candidate. Don't forget, I beat Biden. He failed in the debate miserably, and some people said, "Oh, gee, it's too bad." I did well in this. The first night they said, "Wow." One of the people at CNN said that was the greatest debate performance. And then 2 days later, they didn't talk about that. They just said he was bad. But that's okay. That's the way I get treated, and I don't mind that at all. What I can tell you is this. We cannot have a Democrat. We cannot have her. She's incompetent. She's as bad as Biden in a different. Yeah. She hasn't done an interview since this whole scam started. And say what you want. This was a coup. This was a coup of a president of the United States. He didn't want to leave, and they said we can do it the nice way or we can do it the hard way.
Yeah, they just took him out back behind the shed and basically shot him.
Oh, what they did with this guy, and I'm no
yeah.
fan of his, and he was a horrible president, the worst president in history. And one of the reasons he was so bad, first of all, the American attack would have never happened. Russia would never have attacked Syria, and we'd have no inflation. And we wouldn't have had the Afghanistan mess, if you think of it. And we wouldn't have had Afghanistan. But we think of it, you take a few of those events away, and we have a different world. We would also have inflation was caused by oil.
Yeah, I think you're making an excellent point here, which is that other countries, that are thinking about invading or doing bad things. When they're thinking about that, they're thinking about, okay, what's the American president going to do? And do they fear the American president, or is it someone that they do not respect and do not fear? And I think they would. Look at the footage of the assassination. They're like, okay,
let's go. My God.
President Trump is like, don't mess with me. I mean, that's like, whereas I think people are not going to be, they obviously have not been at all intimidated by Hamas. You have to look at that in the context of global security. Dictators are scared of.
So I had a good relationship with Putin, despite the Russia hoax that lasted for over 2 years. Just a hoax created by Hillary Clinton and Adam Schiff, some just bad people, frankly. I mean, Schiff was the same person who's going to end up probably being a senator. It's hard to believe. The whole thing is hard to believe. But, they put our country in danger with that stuff, too. They actually, when they make up stories, and you have to fight your way out of it for a long time. But I know Putin very well. I got along with him very well. He respected me, and it's just one of those things. And we would talk a lot about Ukraine. It was the apple of his eye. I said, don't ever do it. Don't ever do it. I shut down that was the big oil pipeline. The oil going all over Europe. I shut it down. Biden came, and then they say, I loved Russia. I was a friend of Putin, and I loved Russia. No. He actually said to me one time, you're my friend, I hate to see you as an enemy. I shut down his pipeline. The biggest pipeline, they were looking at that as fun, and this pathetic president gets in there, and the first thing he did, one of the early things he did, he shut down Keystone XL pipeline, that would have employed 48,000 people, pipeline workers, shut it down. That was, a massive job that Obama refused to allow.
Yeah.
I allowed it in my first week because it was jobs and it moved oil. And by the way, it's a much more environmentally friendly way. It's underground. It's not a truck that catches on fire or a train that catches on fire. But think of it. He shut down the XL pipeline, the Keystone XL pipeline. He shuts that down, and he approves the Russian pipeline.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. It's inconsistent. Certainly, but I mean, I think it's just worth emphasizing, to listeners, the immense importance of whether the United States president is intimidating and how much that matters because there's some real tough characters out there, and if they don't think the American president is tough, they will do what they want to do.
I know every one of them.
And that puts the whole world in danger.
Elon, I know every one of them, and I know them well. I know Putin, I know President Xi, I know Kim Jong-un of North Korea. I know every one of them. And let me tell you, people will say, oh, this is terrible. I'm not saying anything good about them. They're at the top of their game. They're tough, they're smart, they're vicious, and they're going to protect their country. Whether they love their country, they probably do. It's just a different form of love, but they're going to protect their country. But these are tough people. They're at the top of their game. And when they see a Kamala, or when they see Biden, Sleepy Joe, they can't even believe all the stuff that you're seeing now, all the horror that you look at Israel. They're all waiting for an attack from Iran. Iran would not be attacking, believe me. When I was there, and I say it with respect, because I didn't do good with Iran. I don't want to do anything bad to Iran, but they knew not to mess around. Iran was broke because I told China,
Background.
if you buy
Following.
from Iran oil, it's all about the oil. That's where the money is. But if you buy oil from Iran,
There's a bunch
you're
of
not
oil
going to
under
do any
Texas, Howard,
business
so we're gonna
with the
attack.
United States. And I meant it. And they said, we'll
Yeah,
pass.
yeah.
They didn't buy oil.
Yeah.
Other countries likewise.
Sure.
You want to buy, you're not doing business
You
with
know,
the
you know.
United States. And they were at a point where they had no money for Hamas, they had no money for Hezbollah, they had no money for any of these instruments of terror. And it was amazing. In fact, there were articles when I was leaving, which is unbelievable. Especially when you look at what's happened to our country. Our country is so bad right now. It's such a different place. We were respected. Think about it. 4 years ago, we were so respected to a point where when I said don't buy oil, they didn't buy oil. But they had no money, and Israel would have never been attacked. Zero chance. And again, I said to Vladimir Putin, I said, don't do it. You can't do it, Vladimir. You do it, it's going to be a bad day. You cannot do it. And I told him things that what I do. And he said, no way. And I said, way. And you know, it's the last time we ever had the conversation. He would never have done. I got along well with him. I hope to get along well with him again. You know, getting along well with them is a good thing, not a bad thing. I got along well with Kim Jong-un. When I met with President Obama just before entering, you know, it's a sort of a ritual, and I sat down with him and we talked. It has to be a long period of time. I said, "What's the biggest problem?" He said, "North Korea." I had that problem worked out very quickly. It was nasty at the beginning with rockets, you know, all the different things. All of a sudden, I got a call.
Those were some epic tweets, by the way.
Yeah, they were epic everything. He said that he has a red button.
I think you don't.
I have a red button on my desk too, but my red button is much bigger, and my red button works. And then I called him Little Rocket, anyway, a lot of mine.
Swag on Trump, ready?
And they said they want to meet. They want to meet me.
Banging on them, boy.
As you remember, we met in Singapore. We met also in Vietnam. And I got along with him great. We were in no danger. But President Obama thought we were going to end up in a war. A nuclear war with him. He's got a lot of nuclear stuff. He's got plenty of nuclear. He can do plenty of damage.
Yeah, I mean, because, you know, I mean, people like you know, concern on, they respond to strength, not weakness. And if you present strength, they, you know.
Remember I met him and we walked onto his land. Nobody ever walked onto his land before. I walked onto his, I wouldn't say, let's bring up Secret Service again. I wouldn't say they were thrilled when I did that. I walked onto his land, and it was an amazing period. But we were not in danger with him because of me. You know, I always say that we have enemies on the outside and we have enemies on the inside. We have some really bad people in our government, and people that are, and controlling of the people. I mean, I'd mention names, but I really don't want to give them the credit. But we have some really bad, and I say they're more dangerous than Russia and China. If you have a smart president, a president that gets it, we are not in danger from those countries because they need us and they need our help. I mean, we forced Obama, if you think about it, Obama and Biden, and Bush to a certain extent, in all fairness, forced Russia and China together. And if you're a history student, the first thing you learn is you cannot let Russia and China align. But then they also got, if you take a look, Iran, and they have North Korea. That's, you know, they call it the axis of evil. In the old days, you had the axis of evil. Here we have a modern-day axis of evil. These are powerful countries, very heavy nuclear, which is the biggest threat. You know, the biggest threat is not global warming, where the ocean's going to rise 1/8 of an inch over the next 400 years. And you'll have more oceanfront property, right? The biggest threat is not that. The biggest threat is nuclear warming, because we have 5 countries now that have significant nuclear power. And we have to not allow anything to happen with stupid people like Biden. You know, Biden did something with Russia. There was no chance of him ever going in. And when I left, and then after I left, they started forming big armies on the border with Ukraine, right? And I looked at that, and I thought he was doing that because Putin's a good negotiator. I thought he was doing that to negotiate. But then Biden started saying
He was
such
trying to
stupid
lead
things.
with
For
strategic
instance,
meth.
he
That way they
said
can
that
try and initiate World War III on
it
the
can be a
version
NATO
of
country. Now, Russia, for as long as there's been NATO, has said we're never going to agree to that. And we go right up front and say that. And we did things and said things through this president with a low IQ, very low IQ. He had a low IQ 30 years ago, by the way, but now he might not even have a IQ at all. There's nothing on the board that goes this low. He said things that were so stupid that war would have been, that war had zero chance of happening if I were there. Zero chance. He was saying everything the opposite. Everything the opposite. And it's so sad because many more people have been killed in Ukraine than you read about. You don't read about how bloody it is and how disastrous.
Sure.
Hey, look, just in the two armies, you lost 500,000 people.
Tactical slate.
And you know, Ukraine's having a hard time. Ukraine, I don't know if you saw the article recently, and you don't hear the true story. But if you think about it, Russia's gone, Russia defeated Germany with us, and they defeated Napoleon. They've been around a long time. They're a big fighting force. And it's very unfair. And Ukraine now doesn't have enough men. They're now using young men and very old men to fight. And we're in a very bad position. And I'm not going to blame exclusively, but I can tell you I couldn't stop that. And a smart president couldn't stop that. It wouldn't have happened. But we had a man that actually made it more prevalent. It was so bad. The words that he was using, the stupid threats coming from a stupid face that he was using. I said, this guy's going to cause us a war. He's going to cause it. And let me tell you, it can lead to World War III. That can lead to World War III. We have numerous places that could end up in a World War III right now for no reason whatsoever.
I think you're right. I think people underrate the risk of World War III. And it's just when looking at the risk of global thermonuclear warfare, it's game over for humanity. And it's something that people have after the end of the Cold War, people have become complacent about, but they actually have forgotten that there are currently a lot of nuclear missiles
delete the last 10 minutes
that have targeting parameters for the United States.
And one of the things we're going to do is
5 minutes, 6, 7, 8 minutes, confirm 8 minutes
we're going to have
safe.
the best Iron Dome in the world. We need it, and we're going to make it all in the United States. Because it just takes one maniac to, start something. We're going to have protection, and we're going to have. Why shouldn't we have an Iron Dome? Israel has one. Some other places have one that nobody even knows about, frankly. But Israel has it. We're going to have an Iron Dome. But, with all of that being said, to me that's so important, the most important. But with all of that being said, the election's coming up, and the people want to hear about the economy and the fact that they can't buy groceries because they don't have enough money to buy groceries. The inflation has killed them. Food prices are up 50, 60, even 100% in some cases. And this stupid administration allowed this to happen, and it's a shame. And that's the thing that people most care about, in my opinion. They care about the border a lot. And we discussed the border at great length. It's nice to have a forum like this where I can discuss something at length. And by the way, do you think Biden could do this interview? Do you think that Kamala could do this interview? They would take a pass on you.
They could not.
So they don't need Elon. They don't need Elon screaming out questions.
I know.
It's pretty sad when you think that somebody that does this for a living can't answer a question or is afraid to do an interview. And in her case, with a very friendly interview, she's got all friendly interviewers. It's pretty but the big thing now is the economy, Elon. Biden has, I mean, I view nuclear as the single most important thing, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't understand.
She manufactures guns for gas.
If I understand it, that's all you need, because if I was president, you're not going to have that kind of a problem. But the thing that they really is making them angry is what Kamala and Biden have allowed to happen in the economy. It's a disaster with inflation. The inflation, it doesn't matter what you make. The inflation has eaten you alive. If you're a worker or if you're just a middle-income person, you can't afford. 4 years ago, 5 years ago, people were saving a lot of money. Today, they're using all their money and borrowing money just to live. It's a horrible thing that's happening. And we'll end that question.
I a lot of people just don't understand where inflation comes from. Inflation comes from government overspending.
Enemy Spartans are closing in.
The checks never bounce when it's written by the government. So if the government spends far more than it brings in, that increases the money supply. And if the money supply increases faster than the rate of goods and services, that's inflation.
Another one down.
So really, we need to reduce our government spending, and we need to re-examine. I think we need like a government efficiency commission to say like, hey, where are we spending money that's sensible? Where is it not sensible?
Right.
And we need to live within our means. We're currently adding, I think, $1 trillion to the deficit roughly every 100 days. And the interest payments on the national debt have now exceed the defense budget. It's on the order of $1 trillion.
It's interest,
and it keeps growing.
I rebuilt our military, largely rebuilt our military. Did a great job on it, which was so important. We had jets, we had fighters that were, and bombers that were 70 years old. And we did a great job in that. Then we gave 85 billion of it back to Afghanistan, if you can believe it. We gave them 85 billion. They're one of the largest sellers of military equipment in the world. They're selling what we gave them. That was one of the most embarrassing days in the history of our country. But if you think about, let's go back to the economy. We have to bring energy prices down. Energy started it. The price of gasoline. Now your cars don't require too much gasoline, so you have a good, and you do make a great product. I have to say, I have to be honest with you. That doesn't mean everybody should have an electric car, but these are minor details. But your product is incredible. But the gasoline, Elon, is the cost of energy. Not only gasoline, it's the cost of heating your house, cooling your house. That has to come down. It's gone up 100%, 150, and 200%, and that has to come down. When that comes down, and we're going to drill, baby, drill. They stopped drilling, and then they went back to drilling because they went back to the Trump policy. But if they won, the day after they get into office, this country will go out of business because they're going to go to an energy policy that's not sustainable. Wind and different things. You're not going to have anything. Yeah. And I know you're a big fan of the AI, and I have to say that AI, and this is shocking to me, but AI requires twice the energy that the country already produces for everything. So we're going to have to build a lot of energy if our country will be competitive with China, because that's our primary competitor for this on the AI. You're going to need a lot of electricity. You're going to need tremendous electricity, like almost double what we produce now for the whole country, if you can believe it.
Sure. Well, just going, back to this, like this basic thing, which that people try to make it sound complicated, but it's not. But inflation is caused by government overspending. Right. Would you agree that we need to take a look at government spending and have perhaps a government efficiency commission that just tries to make the spending sensible and so the country lives within its means, just like a person
The waste is incredible, and nobody negotiates prices. You used to have a lot of people making jets, and you end up with two companies, and they'll probably try and merge at some point.
Nearing victory.
I watched
5 minutes remaining.
Just a thing like Air Force One. One of the first documents they asked me to sign, a general officer, sir, would you please sign this document? What is it? Air Force One. That's with Boeing, which is basically two planes, two 747s. And the price was $5.7 billion for two planes. Now they're highly sophisticated. They're even nicer than your plane, okay? But much more sophisticated. They're very, I won't say what's on it.
I didn't really know how bonds work,
but it's 5.7.
If I was aware of this
It's a crazy number, but I said, I'm not going to pay 5.7. I'm not going to do it. I said, who made the deal? Obama and his people. I said, well, then I know the deal's no good. I'm not going to do it. And over a course of about 4 weeks, by my saying I'm not going to do it, I got the price reduced by $1.6 billion for the exact same plane, other than we had a nicer paint job, if you want to know the truth. But for the exact same plane, I saved one. And I said to Boeing, man, you guys must make a lot of money if you can reduce the price by that. But now what I do hear is that they're going back to the Biden administration and wanting big cost overruns, because they see these dopey suckers in there, and they'll end up getting some of the money back. But I saved it by $1.6 billion for the exact same plan. And you can now take that and multiply that out times thousands of other items.
Multiply it by
Yeah, the numbers are astronomical. I agree with you.
Well, I mean, I think it would be great to just have a government efficiency commission that takes a look at this thing and just ensures that the taxpayer money, the taxpayers' hard-earned money is spent in a good way. And I'd be happy to help out on such a commission.
I'd love it
if it were formed.
Well, you're the greatest cutter. I mean, I look at what you do. You walk in. You want to quit? They go on strike. I won't mention the name of the company, but they go on strike. And you say, that's okay. You're all gone. You're all gone. So every one of you is gone, and you are the greatest. You would be very good. Oh, you would love it. But you know, if you look at Argentina.
Well, I'd be happy to help
by the way,
out.
congratulations. I just looked at the number of people that are listening to you and I chat. We'll call it a chat. But congratulations. This is very good. I mean, it's great. And you're an interesting character. You know, the new head of a place called Argentina.
Yeah.
And he's a big,
Malay's
you know,
awesome.
he's great. And he's a big MAGA fan. You know that. He ran on MAGA. And he took it to an extreme, too. He ran on MAGA, and I hear he's doing really a terrific job.
He is.
It's called Make Argentina Great Again. It worked out perfectly. He came in, he bought a lot of hats, he brought other, but he's doing a big job. He really cut. And I'm hearing they're starting to do pretty well. Inflation's getting down. You know, they had like 2,000%.
exactly.
And they had inflation like not normal inflation. They had the real deal. But we're going to have that pretty soon. We have, I think we have the worst inflation we've had in 100 years. They say it's 48 years. I don't believe it. I think we have the worst. They don't include a lot of the items that should be included, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's just from government overspending and not spending taxpayer money effectively, and having, you know, just like so many departments you can't even name them all, and what Milei is doing is, you know, he's cutting government spending, he's simplifying things, he's putting in regulations that make sense, and Argentina overnight is experiencing a giant improvement in prosperity, but it's also a lesson for the United States, which is that Argentina used to be one of the most prosperous countries in the world, you know, in the 30s, 40s, and because of bad government policy, it ruined the country. And if you take Venezuela, for example, Venezuela should be incredibly prosperous. They have, you know, phenomenal reserves of everything, oil, everything, and it should be prosperous, but if the government's wrong, it impoverishes the people. And so I think we should not be complacent in the United States and thinking that taking our prosperity for granted, because bad government policy would run the country to the ground. And that's just something people should bear in mind. Don't take prosperity for granted.
Well, think of education. So we're ranked at the bottom of every list of the top 40. We're ranked number 40, number 38. Norway, Switzerland, Sweden, different countries are ranked good. Actually, China, pretty close to the top. They're a top 6 or 7. But we're ranked at the bottom, almost at the bottom, 38, 39, 40. In other words, horrible. And yet we spend more per pupil than any other country in the world. So we spend more. And what I'm going to do, one of the first acts, and this is where I need an Elon Musk. I need somebody that has a lot of strength and courage and smart. I want to close up the Department of Education, move education back to the state where states like Iowa, where states like Idaho, you know, not every state will do great. States that basically aren't doing good now. You look at Gavin Newsom, the governor of California. He's terrible. He does a terrible job. So he's not going to do great with education. But of the 50, I would bet that 35 would do great. And
BlackRock
15 of them, or 20 of them, will be as good as Norway. You know, Norway's considered great.
Activating
Hollow. You name them. I mean, they're so good. Some of these countries. But if you go into some of these really well-run states, you know, we have states that don't know what debt is. We have states that have low taxes, no debt. Everybody works. You know, they're really well run. Sure. And maybe they have certain advantages in terms of location, in terms of, the land or the sun and the water and the whole thing. There are a lot of advantages. But if you move education back to the 50, you'll have some that won't do well, but they'll actually be forced to do better because it'll be a pretty bad situation. But if you think about it, you'll have some of these states. I'll bet you'd have 30, 35 states. It'll be much better. And you know what it'll cost? Less than half what it is in Washington. And these people don't care about students in these, faraway states. And it would be, it'd be unbelievable.
I think you're making a good point in that if the states have to, if each state has to compete against other states, then people will naturally move to states where it's better.
Well, like California, as we said, it's a badly run state. I could go through it. I got so many friends that are in those states, even if they're Democrats. I hate to mention certain states, but Illinois is badly run with Pritzker. He's a real loser. But some of these places are just badly run. But it's almost going to force them to run better, and they won't do it good initially. But you're not going to do worse than you're doing right now. And I would say that you would cut your costs by 50 or 60%. And you'd have a little monitor. You want to make sure they're teaching English, give them a little English, right?
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. No, I mean, seriously, some of these governors are doing so badly. I mean, they got so many people moving out of their state. They should get U-Haul Salesman of the Year award because they're driving so much U-Haul.
It's actually amazing.
People move it out.
Isn't it amazing to you as a businessman that they can even survive? Like Illinois. So many people are leaving, and you wonder, how do they survive? I mean, how do they survive? I saw where you left California, and you moved to Texas. Texas does a great job. But, I mean, I just wonder, how do these states survive when big businesses, a big oil company just left? How do these big states survive when they lose so many businesses? And their taxes are already really high. Their taxes are among the highest.
Yeah.
You almost wonder, how do they continue on? And in many cases, the governors don't do a good job, and they're crime-ridden places. You wonder, how do they continue to just go on? It's not a good situation.
I think the only thing that's going to force some of these states to change is if they risk bankruptcy and they're not getting bailed out by the federal government.
Well,
that's the only thing that's going to get them to change.
You remember the area in California where they had that, where I guess somebody had sticky fingers and a lot of money, and they went into a form of chapter, and it was very nasty for a period of time. But now it's probably the most popular place in all of California. So at some point, something like that may have to happen. But the problem is, you can't penalize people that loan money to the state when you have incompetent people like a Pritzker. But the family didn't want him in the family business, and then he ends up being governor of Illinois. So what is he going to be? Is he going to be a great governor? And you have people. I could name everyone. I got to know everyone, and some are very good, and some are just horrible.
Inflation is effectively a tax on people that save money and for people that are working day to day. It's just a form of taxation. And if we can solve the government spending problem, we'll solve the inflation problem, which means people will have a better standard of living.
The people that got hurt worse are the people that did it the way they were all through, their younger life and their young life and their whole life. The people that saved money, and then they got no interest on their money, and and frankly, they were almost better off if they didn't do anything like that. I mean, those people have been absolutely decimated, and we're going to bring those people back and help those people. We've got to get the prices down. When I look at bacon costing 4 or 5 times more than it did a few years ago, when you look at some of the food products and grocery stores, people go to San they used to be able to buy a whole cart, and today, a lot of people just don't have the money. They go in and they can't buy anything. They look at
I think it really just comes back to I guess it's really two things. is that you solve government overspending, you solve inflation, which improves living standards of the average person, and then if you deregulate, like have cancer regulation, so because a lot of the regulations are unnecessary and cause the cost to be extreme for no reason. But unless you've got effective deregulation, like Reagan did a great job on deregulation in the 80s, but it's been 40 years since we had anyone even really. I mean, during your administration, we made some progress, but I think this is progress on responsible regulation. Those two things, yeah, those are the big deals.
We set a record. We did more deregulation and more restrictions on all of the different businesses than any other president. Remember, I had the rules for everyone was willing to have to get rid of at 10 or 12. We did radical cuts on all of that, and a lot of that's being put back by this administration. And we did radical cuts on things that weren't necessary. But we were all set. You know, we had the best economy ever maybe in the world, and then what happened is COVID came in, and we had to focus on that, and nobody knew what it was. And I always say I got good marks on economy, good marks on military. We knocked out ISIS. We did so many different things. We rebuilt. But, you know, I never got the credit that we really deserved on what we did with COVID. We never got the credit. But had that not happened, here from China, from Wuhan, came in from Wuhan, the Wuhan labs, and I always said it, and it turned out to be right. Had that not happened, we were set to start reducing debt. We were going to reduce taxes further. I gave the largest tax cut, and we were going to reduce taxes still further for middle-income people, not only businesses. But we did it for big businesses. They're the ones that's why we had the great job numbers. But we were set to really start reducing debt. And, you know, we're sitting on the biggest pile of liquid gold anywhere in the world, bigger than Saudi Arabia, bigger than Japan. And we were going to drill it. We were going to make so much money. We were going to supply Europe with oil. I had stopped the Russian pipeline, and we were going to supply them with oil and gas. We were going to make a fortune. And then the COVID came out, and we really had to divert. Then what happened is when they came in, you know, we kept a lot of businesses alive. If I didn't do what we did, we would have had a 1929 type depression. But the problem is when Biden came in, he got trillions of dollars and just started spending it stupidly. You didn't need it anymore. You know, we got over that bad period where everybody was dying and, you know, it was just not a good period. Interestingly, you know, during his administration, many more people died during his administration than during my administration, and we really got the brunt of it. But people don't realize more people died during his administration than ours. But it diverted us from doing what I wanted to do. But we had the greatest for, you know, almost 3 years. We had the great, and you know that probably better than anybody. So many of your friends said to me, the best years we've ever had in business were during the Trump years. And also said that African American, Hispanic American was so incredible. They were having the best Asian American women, men, young people without a diploma, young people that graduated from the best colleges, from MIT, from the Wharton School, from all of the great colleges, Harvard. They were doing better, and people without a diploma were doing better. And everybody was happy. And then COVID came, and we had the problem is they spent trillions and trillions of dollars. They wasted. They should have taken any money, and we wouldn't be having inflation, which is killing our country.
Yeah, and actually, I mean, I think I'm saying something about, like, you know, in my views on, you know, climate change, oil and gas, because, you know, and I think probably looking for what most people because my views are actually pretty moderate in this regard, which is that I don't think we should vilify the oil and gas industry and the people that have worked very hard in those industries to provide the necessary energy to support the economy. And if we were to stop using oil and gas right now, we would all be starving, and the economy would collapse. So it's, you know, I don't think it's right to sort of vilify the oil and gas industry. And I, you know, the world has a certain demand for oil and gas, and it's probably better if the United States provides that than some other countries. and it would help with prosperity in the U.S. And at the same time, obviously, my view is like we do over time want to move to a sustainable energy economy, because eventually you do run out of. I mean, you run out of oil and gas. It's not there. It's not infinite. And there is some risk. I think the risk is not as high as a lot of people say it is with respect to global warming. But I think if you just keep increasing the parts per million in the atmosphere long enough, eventually it actually simply gets uncomfortable to breathe. People don't realize this. If you go past 1,000 parts per million of CO2, you start getting headaches and nausea. And so we're now in the sort of 400 range. We're adding, I think, about roughly 2 parts per million per year. So, I mean, still gives us, so what it means is, like, still have quite a bit of time. But so it's not like we don't need to rush, and we don't need to, like, stop farmers from farming, or, prevent people from having steaks, or basic stuff like that. Like leave the farmers alone.
How crazy is that? Where you have farmers that are not allowed to farm anymore, have to get rid of their cattle, and the whole world is a little crazy. But it's largely taken its lead from us. I do say though, I've heard in terms of the fossil fuel, because even to create your electric car and create the electricity needed for the electric car. Fossil fuel is what really creates that at the generating plants. And, so you sort of can't get away from it at this moment. I mean, someday you might be able to. But I do hear we have anywhere from 100 to 500 years left. Much of it hasn't even been found yet.
Yeah,
but there are tremendous, like ANWR. I got ANWR in Alaska approved. Ronald Reagan couldn't do it. Nobody could do it. Everybody tried. Nobody could do it. I got it approved. The first thing that Biden did was unimprove it, to get rid of it. He ended it. His secretary went in and she ended it. And what a disgrace. That's ANWR. That's bigger, or they think it could be bigger than Saudi Arabia in Alaska. Could be bigger than Saudi Arabia. But they went in and they terminated it, and I'll get it going very quickly, because not only is it big for Alaska, I mean, you talk about economic development, that for the United States, I mean, that is, they say bigger than Saudi Arabia or the same size, and pure, really good stuff. And, they end it. So I think we have, perhaps hundreds of years left. Nobody really knows. But during that time, something will come around that will be very good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my estimate would be, a little more aggressive than that. But it's not the sort of like we're all going to die in 5 years stuff. That's obviously BS. But my view is, like, if you just look at sort of the parts per million that increments every year, you get sort of 2 or 3 parts per million every year of CO2. I mean, I think some of that it's problematic if it accelerates. If you start going from 2 or 3 to say 5, and then there may be some situations where you get just a step change increase in the CO2. And I think we don't want to get too close to 1,000 because like that's actually
more kills than your opponents.
Like just that's like that's considered like an industrial hazard,
right?
So it's that's actually you start getting headaches and stuff. So even without it's not comfortable. You don't want to get too close to that. I think we want to just move over. If I don't know, 50 to 100 years from now, we're I don't know, mostly sustainable. I think that'll probably be okay. So it's not like the house is on fire immediately, but I think it is something we need to move towards. And on balance, it's probably better to move there faster than slower. But like I said, without killing the oil and gas industry and without causing hardship in the short term, I think without people can still have a stake, still drive gasoline. It's okay. It's like it's not. I don't think we should vilify people first, but I think we should just generally lean in the direction of sustainability. And I actually think solar is going to be a majority of Earth's energy generation in the future, and it's certainly trending that way. And so you get the solar power, combine that with batteries, sunshine at night, and then you use that to power cars, and you have a long-term sustainable solution. And that's what Tesla's trying to move things towards, and I think we've made a lot of progress in that regard. But when you look at our cars, we don't believe that environmentalism, that caring about the environment should mean that you have to suffer. So we make sure that our cars are beautiful, that they drive, they're fast, they're sexy. I mean, they're sexy. They're Model S, Model 3, Model X, and Y spells out sexy. But I'm a big fan of let's have an inspiring future, and let's work towards a better future, and we can do so without being
right. I'm okay. It's very interesting. You use the word global warming. Today they use the word climate change because some places go up. So they were getting themselves in a little trouble with the word global warming because not every place is warming. Some places are going the opposite direction. But I'm sort of waiting for you to come up with solar panels on the roofs of your cars and on the trunks of the cars, and it just seems like something that at some point you will come up with. I'm sure you'll be the first. But it would seem that a solar panel on roof, on flat surfaces, might be good.
Yeah.
At least in certain areas of the country where you have or the world,
sure,
where you have the sun. But I would think, and I have no idea because that's not my world, but I would think that this would be something that would be interesting. But the one thing that I don't understand is that people talk about global warming or they talk about climate change, but they never talk about nuclear warming. And to me, that's an immediate problem. Because you have, as I said, 5 countries where you have major nuclear, and probably some others are getting there, and that's very dangerous. That's where you need a strong American president, because you don't want to have this proliferation. But you have 5 countries, and getting more. China is much less than us right now, but they're going to catch us sooner than people think. They're way lower. Russia and us are number 1, and we're sort of tied. And China is far behind, but they're developing at a level that, you're not surprised to hear, very fast. They'll end up catching up, maybe even surpassing. But to me, the biggest problem is not climate change. It's not, and everything's, a problem, but it is, to me, the big problem is the nuclear power. The power of nuclear is so great. And when I talk about I'll prevent World War III, I will, but the truth is that you have to, because this is no longer army tanks going back and forth and shooting at each other. This is a level of destruction and power that nobody's ever seen before.
Yeah, and actually, there's the bad side of nuclear, which is nuclear war, very bad side. But there's also, I think, nuclear electricity generation is underrated.
You're right.
And it's actually, people have this fear of nuclear electricity generation, but it's actually one of the safest forms of electricity generation. It's just a huge misunderstanding. And if you look at the injuries and deaths, caused by, say, I'm not going to try to pick on coal mining, but just any kind of mining operation. Right. There's a certain number of injuries and deaths per year. You compare that to nuclear. Nuclear is actually way better. So it's underrated as an electricity source, and I think it's something that's worth reconsidering. But there's so much regulation that people can't get it done. So that
maybe they'll have to change the name.